All right, guys, we've reached that part of the show for opening this week, brought to you by our friends at AMC Theaters. There's one big juggernaut of a film opening this week. Ashley, tell us about it.
Cue the cheers, because it's Rogue One. Yay! In a time of conflict, a group of unlikely heroes band together on a mission to steal the plans to the Death Star, the Empire's ultimate weapon of destruction. This key event in the Star Wars timeline brings together ordinary people who choose to do extraordinary things, and in doing so, become part of something greater than themselves.
Okay, so all of us at this table now have had a chance, including Jeremy Johns, has had a chance to see Rogue One. So, Jeremy, let's start with you. Your overall thoughts on Rogue One. Should people be going out to see it this weekend?
I'm not supposed to plug my review on here, am I?
You can plug your review.
I think you just did.
Yeah. You can find my review on YouTube right now for a more in-depth analysis. Should they go to it? Yes. Does the movie have problems? A couple. However, does it compromise the overall experience? No, it does not. This throws back to, we're talking episode 4 before it was episode 4. This is like old school Star Wars. It's not lightsabered out. It's blasters. It's stormtroopers. It's a mission. It's a thing they gotta do for the greater good of the galaxy far, far away. I ate it up like candy. It's one of those movies I got out of and I was like, I really enjoyed it. However, I'm going to sit on this for a bit before I review it because I need to marinate on that. You know when Kevin Smith says it's like Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
I think, and this is the way I'm like, he's not wrong, in the sense that Empire Strikes Back, when people got out of it, was like, it's enjoyable. And then when time went on, it got better and better and better as it really soaked in. They digested the information a bit, and I think in that respect, it is a lot like Empire Strikes Back. So, yes, the movie is better now than it was 10 minutes ago, which was better now than it was 10 minutes before that. I really liked it.
Mark, what about you?
I thought this was a great Star Wars movie, both if you're a fan of Star Wars lore or if you just want to see a really great war movie. What this movie does for the Star Wars fan is it's so good at building the mythology and world building and showing us new places in the Star Wars universe that every time you feel like, oh, everything in Star Wars has been explored, there's so much new in this movie, but it still feels like it's in the time period right before A New Hope. I think what Gareth Edwards brought to the table from a directing standpoint is a story that really showed us what the rebellion is like from a desperation standpoint, is that we got to see what the boots on the ground look like, that it's not just this great glowy, oh, we're the rebellion and we're all happy and we're the good guys. No, there's a lot of shades in this film, and the bottom line is that the action is so intense. The way it builds up to a climactic scene is so well done, both by the actors involved and by everybody behind the scenes. If I was to criticize this movie, I would say that I think that the second act gets a little long, gets a little meaty, it gets a little slow sometimes, especially if you're not a Star Wars fan. You might be looking at your watch a little bit, but that's going to go away once we hit the third act. Everything about this movie made me happy that I was a Star Wars fan. I think it's a worthy follow-up to last year's The Force Awakens. And as soon as you see this movie, prepare yourself, because you're going to want to run home and watch A New Hope when you simmer down from the excitement this movie leaves you with.
Now, I do want to touch on that, is that, you know, a lot of movies are like, well, in the third act, it kind of falls apart a little bit.
A lot of movies that happen.
This is the best third act I've seen in a while. The most exciting, anyway. And in terms of the Star Wars movies, probably the most exciting third act.
Schnapp, you had a chance to see it last night. Actually, you're the freshest set of eyes on it. What did you think about Star Wars Rogue One?
Journal of the Wills. Now, that's the thing that George Lucas called Star Wars back before it actually had it being called Star Wars. This felt like a true Star Wars film. To me, its heart is based right with The New Hope. For me, the opening was a little bit slow. But without going into spoilers, I think it ramps up. Act 2, I really started getting invested in the characters, and Act 3, I was all in. And I absolutely love the film. There are certain elements to it. To me, we'll just call it the uncanny valley. Let's leave it at that. Google it. I don't want to get into spoilers, but for myself, it took me out of the movie. With that being said, everything else in the film, I absolutely love. K2SO. He is my favorite character.
He was the surprise of the film. He was the surprise of the film. Yeah, absolutely.
And as a matter of fact, anytime, any moment, I was like, this scene is getting a little long in the tooth. That guy showed up and gave me a little laugh. So I felt like it's really a great film. I mean, I have to say that even if it has nothing to do with Star Wars, this remedies any problems I had with the prequels. I'm like, look, you never have to watch those again. The only prequel that exists to Star Wars A New Hope is Rogue One, and just start with that. That's your starter kit. So,
okay, so here's the thing. I absolutely adored this film, and I'm like you. The more that time passes between when I saw it now, the more and more I like it. Now I'm going to say something, and I mentioned this in our official Rogue One review, which is that goes more in depth. It is up on our channel right now. You can go and check that out. One of the things I mentioned there is I'm very much in the minority because everybody just gets crazy about how great this film gets as it progressively goes along. I might have even actually liked the first half of the movie more. To me, and I mentioned this before too, it reminded me a lot of The Dirty Dozen. Not in the plot points, but that feel of the opening, this meeting these characters, understanding their context, they're moving along, heading towards this near impossible thing they need to do, right? And I just soaked it. I loved it. And then it gets into a completely different kind of a movie once you get into the second half of the movie, which just then blows your mind. It is fun. It's exciting. It is by far and away, the original trilogy aside, is by far and away my favorite Star Wars movie. To me, it is better than The Force Awakens. And I really enjoyed The Force Awakens. To me, this is a better film. I adored it. It was everything I was hoping it would be. I couldn't have been happier. I am still pissed at the lack of an opening crawl. I am still pissed about that. I did find it jarring when the movie started, the opening crawl. But you know what? If my biggest complaints can be simmered down into a 2-minute window, that's a pretty damn good thing because I just adore this movie. And oh, look! Ken Knapsack is here.
It's magic.
Changed.
Power
Ken
of the Force.
Knapsack is here, who also saw this movie
I did.
yesterday.
I've always wanted to replace Mark Ellis on things. Sports reference, baby carrots. Saw it yesterday. Thanks to this wonderful man, Jeremy Jones. I was his date to the screening. Thank you, JJ.
You know what? Best date I've ever had.
Look, my overall reactions, I had to calm down. You guys saw me there. I was like, that's my favorite Star Wars movie ever. I had to calm down and relax. Obviously, I think the original saga when you're tied to the main stories. But when in 1983 I came out of Return of the Jedi, and the next day at school I went to the playground for recess and said, guys, let's play Star Wars. This movie is what I was playing. This has some of my absolute favorite Star Wars stuff. Now, does it stand up on its own? I think it does. But if you don't know the references to the Star Wars novelization of A New Hope that are in this movie, you mentioned Journey to the Whills is one, but there's some other references, some other deep cuts. You might not get to enjoy it as much as I did. A lady next to us at the screening turned to me right before the beginning and said, now this is the sequel to the one that comes out last year. No. That woman might not enjoy it as much as me.
It really happened.
Fair criticism. Did
you give her the Vulcan and sleep?
And sleep. Well, she pointed the screen at Felicity Jones and said, that's the same woman from last year. I said, no, but they are both British. That's the start. There are some things, there are some risks that they took that might not pay off for some at others. I was surprised they took some of those risks. Right. It's very brave. You can decide whether it's there. But I'm telling you, yes, the characters in Force Awakens might have been better for me because we need them to be. We're going to be with those characters for 3 films. But we don't know at the end of this movie, you know, the characters, they serve a great purpose. They serve a great purpose to the bigger story, and I'm excited that we have these new characters in Star Wars lore.
Can I also add a non-spoiler? This actually made Star Wars make more sense. This made A New Hope
absolutely
make more sense because of the machinations of the plot and the story. It gave so much more depth to the rebels, to the cause, to everything. That it's like now when you see A New Hope, if you see Rogue One, there's such a multi-layered story behind everything.
Yeah, and that's an important point because I think a lot of people, people will see either a prequel or a sequel to a certain film and they'll go, well, that takes away from that original film for me. We heard the complaints about the prequels and other film franchises as well. I think you're bang on the money. This is a film that will make you appreciate the original Grandmaster Star Wars even more.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And if you had asked me if that was possible, I would say no.
Right.
Before seeing the film, no. Let's not set our expectations that ridiculously high that'll even add to. But it does.
Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it. Like, I want to see it again.
My heartbreak moment was when I got home. I was like,
when you got home, okay. Don't
don't
spoil anything.
My gosh, man, I'm a professional here. Who do you think you have hired here? This is highly irregular. But when I got home, I wanted to put in the original Star Wars, the original New Hope, and I was like, I have a review to do. So I haven't watched it yet, and that's my heartbreak moment because I want to just pop in A New Hope right there and just watch the next chapter in this saga. But it really is. It's a film that is more in line with what we, as old people, grew up with in Star Wars. And so now there's a whole new generation of kids who will get that feeling we got. I don't know. I appreciate that. I love that. I love that there are these new Star Wars films coming out where kids will look back and be like, no, Rogue One's the best one ever. And I'll look at that kid when, when they're 18, 19, I'll be like, yeah, good for you. Yes, sure. I'm glad that you get that. I think that's great.
It's funny because I didn't get home from the after party until like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
I couldn't watch it then. So, but we're going to go see it Thursday night, 7 p.m. with an audience here in Burbank, with the full audience. And we've already planned our evening. We're going to do that. We're going to go with a couple of friends and grab a drink. And then Ann and I are going to go right back home. We're going to have Rogue One already queued up in the Blu-ray player. We're going to have it ready to go. Or not Rogue One, the New Hope. We're going to have it ready to go. Just get home, hit play, and just keep it going.
Question: special edition or despecialized edition?
Despecialized. That's the one I have.
I wish I did, but unfortunately, the disc version I have is the.
I will bring in my despecialized version and give it to you so you could watch it.
Yes,
I'll bring it in tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
I got the despecialized. I printed out labels. I bought Blu-ray cases. They're on my Blu-ray shelf in like official old school jackets.
You sweaty.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. It's right there. It's like it goes original trilogy, Force Awakens. It's like right there. I'll show you. But one of the great things is after Ken and I get out, I turned to him, after we step out of the theater, I was like, what'd you think? And Ken literally, stone face, is like, let's get to the car. And I was like, okay. And I was like, so what'd you think? He's like, let's just get in the car. And you would swear he had the plans to the Death Star on him. Like, don't tell anybody. We just need to get in the car. And so right when the door closed, he's like, oh my gosh, that was really it. So then we just started gushing about it.
I had an emotional reaction.
Again,
I love these characters. I want to spend more time with these characters. I'm going to watch this movie over and over again. It is a great, great addition to the Star Wars universe. Where does it rank? I don't know.
Yeah, it's too early for me.
We all need to go see it. Maybe next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Oh, dude, come on! Every day next week is going to be lunch meeting.
But I'm just saying, I want to go
to the movie theater
because I cheered 3 times out loud. One of them by myself in the theater.
Me
and Riley were seated like 3 people apart, and the 2 people were just like looking at us like, "Whoa, why are these people?" We were
nerds?
Like,
I think we was the same moment.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I had the same.
With no spoilers.
I went like this.
Started a slow clap that never happened.
Literally, you're like, I can't believe they did. That's so smart and amazing and great.
I agree. Yeah, Ken goes. No one, and I looked at him. I was like, I got the reference. I got that.
I got back from lunch. And I pull into my parking spot, and standing out in the parking lot are Jeremy, Ellis, and Ken. All just stand there, and I'm pulling up, and I look at the 3. All 3 of them are like, it's because they had just gotten back from the screening.
Yeah,
so.
We were reenacting parts like with our personage, like we're on the playground.
At lunch, we're gonna go play Star Wars in the parking lot. It's great.
Hey,
You're invited.
Here's a sound effect. Is that a spoiler? I don't know.
All right, well, listen, guys. Clearly, for this opening this week's segment, talking about should you go to see it, should you be excited about it? The answer to that is an overwhelming and resounding yes. Get out and see. And it brings up a thing. A lot of people ask, "What do you think is to do opening weekend?" And I said, my baseline is going to be 147 million opening, depending on the reaction.
Right.
Because who knows? We didn't know. Would the reaction be poor? Would the reaction be good? I'm now going to say just north of 150. I still don't think it's going to make 200 million. I still do not think it's going to make 200
Not
million.
Beauty and the Beast numbers, but
No, it won't be Beauty and the Beast. But
I was just peeing. What happened? I'm going 180. Going 180.
You're gonna go 100.
for Rogue One,
I'm not willing to put an exact number, but I will say north of 150. I think because I think the word that's getting out there now, the buzz that is starting to generate. I think a lot of people now who might have been on the fence about going to see Rogue One this weekend are going to be probably now hopping on Fandango or whatever and buying those movie tickets. But again, I still don't think it'll make Beauty and the Beast numbers.
I mean, it's
not
Beauty and the
200
Beast.
million, not 200 million, but we'll see how that goes.
I
All
think
right,
it's
guys.
going to make 185 just to beat Ellis.
151.
150.
Bam!
All right.
Price is right, baby.
Do it.
Let's see what happens now.